Hello everyone, welcome back to Rink-Side with Hits and Clips. This is episode number 10. We've hit double digits. So in this episode, I actually came across this particular topic over on social media, and I just wanted to cover this. It's not really based on any of the particular leagues that we would originally talk about. The only particular league that we usually want to cover and discuss is the AHL, which is mentioned a little bit in here. This particular topic is the USHL, the FPHL, and the ECHL. So more so the FPHL, the Federal Professional Hockey League, and the USHL. And what I happened to come across over on social media, particular topic of, is there any empty hockey arenas for professional hockey teams? One in particular league that came about was the UCHL, and this league is particularly very known to a lot of people, and it's been in talks a little bit more with the OHL in bringing two teams over into the Ontario Hockey League, and those two teams are the Muskegon Lumberjacks and the Youngstown Phantoms. Now, obviously, the UCHL would have to approve these two teams of coming over into the OHL, given that these two teams and the OHL have expressed their interest in these two franchises. If the FPHL, the Feds, were to expand in adding a new franchise, there's potential talks about Topeka, Kansas, and the fact that so many of these arenas, these empty arenas, are just being used for separate tournaments and different events or whatever might be going on. The Central Hockey League has had a 7,700 seat arena, but it just hasn't worked for professional hockey. There's obviously been rumors and speculation, talks of the NHL expanding to New Orleans for hockey. Obviously, Atlanta, bringing the Atlanta Thrashers back, adding a team out in Houston, Texas, and of course, every Canadian is talking about bringing a team to Quebec City, not to mention potentially Saskatchewan at some point. But why does the fact that this keeps coming up into arenas in particular and having to somehow manage to pull it off? Because according to what I heard on social media, they have lower operating costs, which means it's cheaper for the arenas. Obviously the arenas won't complain because they'll get some funding coming into their facilities. And it would obviously draw fans, people, the community in Kansas, for example, especially down the south, because it seems like, if not the NHL, a lot of professional hockey leagues like the UCHL or the ECHL or even the AHL is looking to expand to southern United States. And so this was a particular topic that I just wanted to cover on the channel that we have, because this isn't really talked about much. I personally don't follow a lot of the UCHL or the FPHL or the ECHL, but given the circumstances under the potential for expansion in the FPHL, I mean, there's obviously, what I've heard on social media is that they will expand to Topeka, Kansas for the Federal Pro Hockey League. And so if that's the case, then maybe you look at the AHL as well, obviously the affiliate for the NHL. If anyone's unfamiliar with this current news, the First Ontario Centre, where the Hamilton Bulldogs first relocated from Belleville after they got moved and relocated, the AHL is potentially looking to add Hamilton as another location once the First Ontario Centre is done undergoing their renovations. So is the AHL a potential place for hockey in Hamilton? Or are we looking back down in the States? Because if we're going to expand not just hockey, professional hockey in Canada, you might want to reconsider the options of the American Hockey League. I know it's the American Hockey League and the UCHL, and obviously a lot of teams would be playing down in the States. But if you're going to expand the AHL, and you already have the teams of Laval, Quebec, and Belleville, and Toronto, already in the AHL as the Marlies, the Senators, and the Rockets for the Habs and the Senators, and the Leafs in the NHL. Maybe you look at adding a team overall once and for all in Hamilton. Maybe you add a team out in somewhere out else in Alberta. I mean, you already had the Abbotsford Canucks for the Vancouver Canucks of the AHL and the NHL. So maybe that's another potential opportunity that the league ends up going with, but we'll have to see how this ends up turning out, because having an empty hockey arena for a pro hockey team is just screaming for a franchise to come there. So only time will tell. We'll have to see how this unfolds, but I just wanted to cover this particular topic in general. If you have any additional information or your personal opinion or any further updates about this, feel free to drop it down in the comments and let us know. We really want to cover as much hockey-related content as possible, and this was certainly worth recording an episode for. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to us and like our videos over on YouTube. Follow us over on Spotify as well as on Bluesky if you want any current and updated news and posts on the social media end of things. Thanks everyone, and we will talk to you again soon.